Hello, so this is a video on the Master Duel update happening on the 9th of May, specifically to do with the current ban list that's coming up, the Forbidden Unlimited list that's coming up soon. It's kind of interesting, but at the same time not really, and it's a really odd ban list to say. There's some hits here and there. I might as well start it off with the Fusion Destiny being at 2. Fusion Destiny being at 2 means that we've got DPE coming along the way. Uh, Even though proven by the TCG, the Fusion Destiny at 2 does not do anything. And they should be banning Verte instead, or just changing Fusion Destiny, because in any other deck that's going to be running DPE, you only care if you've only got one Fusion Destiny in your deck. 2 is fine, it makes it more consistent. 3, obviously, if you get it in your starting hand, you don't need to go into Verte. And that's the difference that Fusion Destiny makes here, while the semi-limited on the Fusion Destiny. So yeah, that's not too bad, but yeah, it's giving us tellings that Bode will be coming round the way. So we'll see cards like Brandon the Red come around. We'll see some more B Trooper support if people want to see that. And there'll be we've got Ice Jades coming around in Bode as well. Sue ships. I don't think anyone really cares about those, but yeah, it's primarily going to be DPE, and for those hero players as well, you've also got Denier, which is also a nice component to the hero deck. Other than that, yeah, Bode's very good. Actually, there is another card that's very important to notice in this next expansion. Sorry, in this next update, and that would be Trouble Sunny. So Live Twin will finally get their boss monster. Live Twin's boss monster is very good because obviously you're bringing back both the red and blue, so you can get both of the effects as well. Not necessarily one or the other. She's also got a very good stat line, so she's not necessarily a huge tower, but she is a bigger tower than Blue Eyes cards, and she certainly can hit a punch with that. She is a great boss monster and does things in the grave as well, so I wouldn't be surprised to see more Live Twin players in the Master Duel update coming up on the 9th of May. That being said, let's have a look at the entire list. We know that Red Eye's Darkness Metal Dragon has come off the ban list, which is understandable considering that the ban list here, considering that the errata happened to it and completely changed the card in general. The card itself after the errata wasn't very good, and I don't see why it should have been on the ban list. So I'm glad that's come off. We'll come off with the Roxy's and the Analyzer. Analyzer doesn't really make too much sense. Analyzer at 2, I guess you can, if you want it less in your starting hand, or if you want to search it less often. But in the other cases, usually it's Researcher that goes off first. That being said, Roxy's at 2 doesn't really hit Prank Kids at all, but it hits Adamancipator again. The reason for that is because you've got less of a chance to hit Roxy's in your deck. By not hitting Roxy's in your deck, it means you can't go into the Prank Kids engine with the Adamancipator engine. But yeah, it does not make a difference for any Prank Kids deck at all. It's kind of a weird hit, but then again, not really too fussed about this. I would have rather seen a Block Dragon hit here, but that being said, again, it means that the Adamancipator Prank Kids deck has less of a synergy, albeit it's still there. Next is Cobalt Sparrow, and this is a really weird one because you'd rather hit Warbler or their boss monster Samorg. Fractal did get hit by 2 as well, which isn't really much of a problem since Tenki is unlimited. It just means that Tri-Brigade's staying power isn't as strong. That being said as well, if Tri-Brigade doesn't usually go further than 5 turns maybe, and it's not usually dependent on Fractal, usually it's dependent on Kit. Kit is a much bigger component than Fractal, albeit Kit you must normal summon or discard in some way. Cobalt Sparrow not really too fussed about this. What it does mean though is that there will be less targets, less targets for Cobalt Sparrow to be immune. So, for instance, Radical Starling and Ensemble Robin will probably be the two Cobalt Sparrow targets. Maybe Ensemble Robin will probably not be a target there, but again, it means that Nightingale after that will be the target for the second Cobalt Sparrow. For the virtual wild card, I'm going to be honest with you, I don't think why this should have been a hit. Maybe something like VFD would have been better. And considering they're hitting a lot of starting cards in this update, maybe they should have hit Lulu instead. All in all, I don't think it's a bad ban, but semi-limit, but I don't think it's a very good one either. Torn Scales, again, they're hitting starter cards. Again, you can argue that they could have just hidden Rongo, but Rongo is a bit of a how do I put it? It's a bit of a fragile boss monster to go into if you know what you're negating. Specifically, you're negating number 74, I believe it is. If you negate number 74, Phantom Knights can't really do a lot about it. So if you just hold your imperm for that choke point if you can. Sometimes though, Phantom Knights don't usually go into that, and they would go into like Appaloosa or just a general board. And that's fine. If they're doing that, then holding onto the imperm is much better. You can play it next turn for the Appaloosa. So yeah, Torn Scales getting hit to 2, it doesn't really do much. But again, it does kind of, I guess, stop their strong starting points, similar to how it's hit the other decks here. Already spoken about Fusion Destiny. Sekka's Light is a bit of a weird one, because I don't really see Sekka's Light being used in many decks other than like BA. BA is, if I'm honest with you, a weird deck to hit here. Probably the better card to hit here would have been the Grass Screener, because that card allows 60 card decks to actually be viable. Sekka's Light isn't very good, if I'm honest with you, because if you're running Sekka's Light, it means you can't run any spells or traps. You're just running monsters. Maybe something like in a deck that would run majority monsters, but other than that, no. DD Dynamite hit is okay. You can't search off Trap Trick now, which is nice. But FTK decks can still search for it, similar to how they would search for a Exodia deck, except for the fact that you can't Treasure Panda this, so maybe it's a bit more limited. We'll see how it goes, but I still think the FTK deck will still work. It'll just be drawing more, and you'll be replacing Trap Trick with 3 other card draw cards. Conquistador at 1 is stupid, considering Eldritch isn't really oppressive. Master Duel is at a best of 1 format, but Conquistador is not a problem, especially when you can main deck evenly matched. Evenly matched deals with both monster boards and spells and trap boards, so hitting Conquistador here does not really do a lot. That being said, if they had hit something like Elixir, maybe at like 2, maybe this would have hit their consistency a bit more and their grinding power. We've seen cards like BA Eldritch, which literally doesn't die, and one of the reasons for that is because of Elixir. So maybe we would like to see another card hit, but instead Conquistador, one of their key components, but not one of their key staying power cards, just one of their key pop removals, has been limited to 1. It's really unfortunate for Eldritch, but unfortunately, yeah, they might have to move on to another deck, as Conquistador at 1 means that you'll probably be running more Dogmatic Punishments. And finally, we're at Cyber Angel Benten. This ban is actually pretty good, albeit there's still Eva, and that's still a problem. It just means that Drytron will now need to recycle this one Benten. Benten itself is a problem card within Drytron, as it cycles a ton of cards. You can counter Drytron with Draw and Lockbird, usually I do, but taking Draw and Lockbird specifically for Drytron isn't necessarily a great play, and you would rather have Draw and Lock Bird in a side deck. That being said, Master Duel is very, very combo heavy. Because of this, Draw and Lock Bird is very, very acceptable in running your deck. But Ben 10 at 1 is still a very good hit, and I'd just like to see them hit either as well. And that's my thoughts on the current update on the 9th of May.